If the sound of someone chewing makes you want to fight a bear, congratulations. Your brain is reacting to a psychological threat that most people are too distracted to notice. And no, you're not damaged. You're just hearing something everyone else is deaf to. Picture this. You're at a quiet dinner, and someone starts chewing, and immediately your soul leaves your body. Not because you hate the person, but because your brain just went into full-blown panic mode over a sound everyone else is ignoring. You're not broken, you're not irritable, and you're definitely not the problem. Your brain is just playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. And if you've ever felt guilty or crazy for this feeling, I want you to listen very closely. Let me break down what's really happening in that beautiful, complicated brain of yours. For anyone who doesn't get it, they'll say, just ignore it, or you're overreacting. But for you, it feels like anything but an overreaction. It's a profound sense of losing control, like you're being attacked by a sound. This has a name, misophonia, fancy term for hatred of sound. It's a neurobiological condition where specific, repetitive sounds like chewing, slurping, heavy breathing, or even keyboard tapping trigger an intense, involuntary reaction. This isn't like disliking nails on a chalkboard. This is a response that can hijack your entire nervous system. People call it an electric anger, a wave of rage or disgust that feels completely out of proportion. And let's be clear, it's not just a feeling. First, your body physically reacts as if it's in mortal danger. A racing heart, tightness in your chest, your muscles tensing up for a fight. Your body is primed for a conflict that your conscious mind knows is absurd. Then comes the emotional tidal wave: rage, disgust, panic, and deep anxiety. Actress Melissa Gilbert described feeling horribly guilty for feeling so hateful towards people I loved when they chewed. That's the immense internal war. Your logical brain versus your reactive brain. This makes it nearly impossible to focus on anything else. Your brain goes on high alert, scanning for the next offending noise, and it all leads to the actions you take to cope: discreetly covering an ear, skipping family dinners, or in some cases, literally fleeing the room. These aren't the actions of someone who is simply annoyed. These are the desperate coping mechanisms of someone whose brain is screaming danger. The toll is devastating. It strains relationships and creates crippling social isolation. You start to feel shame over your reactions, and that dissonance is exhausting. You know logically the person slurping soup isn't trying to hurt you, but your brain is telling a completely different story. So what's actually going on in your head to cause this? For a long time, people thought it was just sensitive hearing, but science tells a much more fascinating story. This isn't a problem with your ears. It's a problem with how your brain interprets the data. Think of your brain having a threat detection system. Its job is to scan your environment and decide what's important. For most people, the sound of chewing is background noise. Their brain deletes the file. Not important. But in your brain, that system is wired differently. A key part, the anterior insular cortex, AIC, shows hyperactivity. The AIC links your external senses with your internal emotions. It's the part of your brain that helps you feel disgust and social emotions. When you hear a trigger sound, your AIC lights up like a Christmas tree, misinterpreting this harmless sound as something profoundly threatening. It's like a faulty smoke alarm that blares at full volume for a piece of burnt toast. This hyperactive AIC then sends an urgent, red alert signal to your brain's fear and emotion center, the amygdala. That's what kicks off the immediate, powerful fight or flight response before your rational brain even has a chance to weigh in. Here's the wild part. There's also a supersensitive connection between the part of your brain that processes sound and the part that controls the muscles in your face and mouth. One groundbreaking study suggested that when you hear someone chewing, your own orofacial motor cortex is excessively activated. It's as if their action is intruding on your own neural space. The sound of chewing literally activates the part of your brain responsible for chewing. This is why it feels so personal, so invasive. The sound isn't just something you're hearing. It feels like it's happening inside your own head. We've just scratched the surface here, and if you're relating to this, it's because this is a shared, valid experience. It's not a character flaw. It's neurobiology. I'm curious, what's the sound that sends you running? Drop it in the comments. Let's find our people and show everyone they aren't alone in this. Just when you think you've got it figured out, there's another layer. For many, the trigger isn't just auditory, it's visual. Ever feel that same boiling rage when you see someone shaking their leg, tapping their fingers, or chewing with their mouth open from across a silent room? This is sometimes called misokinesia, which is a fancy term for hatred of movement. This is a crucial piece of the puzzle because it proves a vital point. Misophonia is not an auditory disorder. It's a disorder of brain processing. The trigger, whether it's a sound or a sight, is just the input. The problem lies in how your brain's threat detection system processes that input. Seeing a repetitive leg jiggle is processed in the same faulty way as hearing a repetitive sniffle. This explains why even noise-canceling headphones aren't a perfect fix. The sight of jaws moving can be just as potent. It also connects back to that motor cortex theory. Seeing the movement may activate your mirror neuron system in a similar overexcited way, creating that same invasive feeling that the other person's actions are intruding upon your own brain. It's testament to the fact that this is a deeply rooted neurological pattern, and the problem isn't the sound or the sight. The problem is the brain's haywire interpretation of it. Understanding the why is validating, but the most urgent question is, what can I do about it? First, let's get one thing straight. There is currently no magic pill or single procedure that cures misophonia, but that does not mean you are without hope. While the condition isn't yet in big diagnostic manuals like the DSM-5, an expert consensus definition has been created, and science is finally taking it seriously. In fact, organizations like the Misophonia Research Fund have committed over $17 million to support more than 50 studies, driving real clinical and scientific validation. The most evidence-based path forward we have is a specialized form of cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. Translation: it's about systematically retraining your brain to react differently and learning to break that automatic link between the trigger and the rage. There's also growing promise in third-wave therapies like acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, which focus on learning to notice the anger and physical sensations without letting them take control, to unhook from the emotional storm. Then there are the practical, in-the-moment tools. Sound therapy using white noise machines or apps can help mask triggers. High-fidelity earplugs are lifesavers, and emerging tech is on the horizon, like AI-driven devices that identify and suppress specific sounds in real time. Finally, a crucial part of the solution is family and social support. Counseling can help your loved ones understand this is a real neurological condition, not a choice or a mood you're in. It helps them learn how to be empathetic without enabling avoidance, creating a home environment that feels safe. The path forward involves both top-down psychological strategies and bottom-up practical ones to manage your world. If you have spent your life feeling angry, isolated, or even crazy because of your intense reaction to sounds like chewing, I want you to hear this loud and clear. You are not alone. You are not irritable, and you are not oversensitive. Your experience is valid. Misophonia is a real neurobiological condition rooted in the very wiring of your brain. That feeling of rage is not a choice. It's a neurological reflex. For decades, sufferers were dismissed, but the science is finally catching up, and with that understanding comes hope. Through a combination of therapy, coping strategies, and self-awareness, It is possible to manage this and reclaim your life from the tyranny of trigger sounds. You're not built wrong. You're just built for a different kind of quiet in a world obsessed with noise. And honestly, that's a truth worth listening to. If this video helped you feel seen, please consider subscribing and sharing it with someone who might need to hear this message. Every share helps combat the stigma. And please, continue the conversation in the comments. Let's build a community of support and understanding around this often invisible struggle. Thank you for watching.